panel for being here. I just got off a Zoom roundtable with a number of Michigan colleges, community colleges, and you might guess this was one of the topics they talked about. Very frustrated with what it's doing and the impact it has on the institutions themselves, as well as the students. I'm pleased to see the bipartisan agreement in this subcommittee, recognizing that the Department of Education rollout of FAFSA has been nothing short of an embarrassment, which has negatively impaired students across the country, especially those who need financial assistance the most, as was just mentioned. I was proud to be part of the bipartisan effort to overhaul FAFSA and make it simpler, of all things. But after 3 years, the department dropped the ball. Over a year before the usual deadline, they knew they wouldn't have a working product and went ahead anyway, failing students across the country. The result, over 430,000 fewer students submitted a FAFSA. This is unacceptable, since it should have been unavoidable. And I look forward to continuing to hold the department accountable, but more importantly, ensuring our students have a system that works. There have been numerous reports from across the country about how this botched rollout had deeply affected both students and institutions. For example, in June, Inside Higher Education published a piece, FAFSA Fiasco Forces Cuts at Small Colleges. Many small private colleges are surviving quarter to quarter, narrowly avoiding sweeping budget cuts. The bungo FAFSA rollout pushed some of those over the edge, and we read about them almost every week. We also have a letter from the American Council on Education on behalf of 36 associations and organizations highlighting the impacts of the rollout, noting most institutions were unable to properly package aid offers in a timely fashion. Ms. Emery Aris, given your expertise, how did FAFSA delays affect the timing of college financial aid offers?
Aid offers were significantly late. They did not come out when students were admitted to school, and instead, in some cases, came out after students were required to decide which college to go to.
How did the delays then affect students' ability to choose a college they could afford?
It significantly hindered their ability to choose a college thinking wisely about their finances and whether they could afford a school. Can you imagine? It's like buying a house, but not knowing how much aid you're going to get and having to make a commitment right then and there.
Buying a house where you had looked at numbers of neighborhoods and now you had one block that you could potentially choose from. What students and schools were hurt the most by the FAFSA delays?
There was broad pain across the college community. There was a lot of uncertainty around enrollment numbers, which affected school finances, and students who were affected the most were students that were lower income.
Lower income students, as we heard, just wanted to have that restated, but also the colleges that were already on life support due to all sorts of things, including COVID, the change in perspective on what makes a future, and the rest. So thanks for the information. I yield back.
Thank you. I'd like to now recognize Mr. Scott.
Thank you.